Hey, is this headless voice that you hear is Keith Townsend from the CTO Advisor. We're doing something a little bit different here at AWS reInvent. We're post the watch party for AWS reInvent 2019, one of Virgil's keynote, and one of the common conversations during the watch party was the fear of AWS Lock-in. So we have three distinguished panel members that will talk about that very topic. So let's introduce each panelist, beginning right to left. Wences.
Yeah, so my name is Wences Michel. I'm a cloud architect working at a large beverage company in Dallas.
Hi, JP Morgenthal. I'm the Regional CTO for the Americas for Automation Anywhere.
Hi everybody, my name is Tim Van Herck. I'm a Director of Technical Product Management at VMware, and we're part of the VeloCloud business unit.
So first off, guys, let's talk about basics. AWS, 3% of all over global spend on IT is in public cloud. AWS has pretty much 50% of that. Is the cloud wars over, or have they basically just started? Basic question.
I think it just started. I mean, we saw numbers that we'll see initially saturation of the speed at which public cloud can build out data centers as we approach 20% of all compute market being used. So I mean, if we haven't even created 20% consumption yet rate compared to data centers, there's a whole lot of runway there, in my opinion, for more workloads and more build out of the public cloud.
Yeah, I think in general, like Amazon has a significant lead in the market, right? So if you look at where they are compared to their second and third competitor in the marketplace, and there is a significant lead there today. But what is currently not covered is like the Chinese market, right? And Alibaba and AliCloud are just gearing up on that front. So I think in the next couple of years, as AliCloud will spin up, we're going to sort of like see like how that dynamic is going to play out, and if it is truly a settled discussion or if it's just beginning.
I would agree with both that it's just started, right? So I would say that the wars have just started, and I think that AWS is clearly the leader, but there's a lot of room for growth as well.
And it really depends on what you want to incorporate into that cloud designation. For example, there is a high demand for the SaaS applications. There is a growing number of services that each of the known public cloud service providers are offering, and they're differentiated, right? So, and this gets to probably other points that you've been talking a lot about, this multi-cloud thing, right? Is if we shouldn't be looking at it as I have to have a home, right? It's really about where are the services and how do I want to consume those services. And I may have applications that consume some ServiceNow, some Salesforce.com. I might have a few workloads that I run in a container architecture on AWS, but I like Microsoft's AI, right? I mean, that's to me is the future of what we have here. And what one of the things I get to work with now a lot is the orchestration of all that, right? That's the thing I think that needs to be democratized, is that orchestration.
So if we all agree that the cloud wars are very, very early, AWS has a lot of services that create gravity. If I go all in some of these services and, fast forward 5 years, 7 years, and not to be funny, but Oracle picks up their cloud play and they do something appealing, or Azure or Google really pick up interest and what they're capable of, should I be worried about lock-in to AWS services today?
Oh, okay, so let's analyze. Let's break that down. What does that really mean to be locked in? Does it? There is no lock-in. What we're really talking about is what's the cost to exit. So I mean, the point is, at what point do you want to leave? Why do you want to leave? Right? Is it a cost function? Is it that again, that data gravity problem where you're like, wow, I really like the way, I really want to leverage Azure services heavily, but it's taking too long for me to use Azure with my Amazon data environment. So I really want my data close to that function over there in order to do this work, right? So, I think those are the issues that customers are going to struggle with as they make these decisions about, quote unquote lock-in. It's more about what is the function of moving and why do you want to move? Because it's not the old world anymore. It's not, I'm a big monolithic ERP vendor who's going to twist your arm every year for a re-up on a license, and if you don't give it to me, I'm going to shut your software off.
So, to that point, I think that it's going to be a multi-cloud, hybrid cloud world, and I think that data gravity is important. So I think based on your business and what you're trying to do, yes, the clouds generally do the same thing, but they don't do everything the same way, and so it's really doing your homework up front to pick the cloud that you want to go into. And then I would say that yes, it is vendor lock-in, but you chose to go with that cloud for a reason, right? And so I would say that if you do your homework up front, then you're okay. And the thing about the data gravity and pulling it out, that's going to be the expensive cost there, right? So I would say just do your homework and pick the right cloud for the right job. And then the other thing is, since it is a multi-cloud, hybrid cloud kind of world, you have data centers that are in like the Equinix data center, and you have all the cloud providers there as well. So I mean, you're really talking about putting a cross connect between the different cages there. So to your point about Oracle, you could run AWS on the front end and Oracle on the back end for a certain use case or whatever. So it's really going to depend on what you're trying to do, and just stay focused on the business and what the business requirements are, and just then map those cloud initiatives to what you're trying to accomplish with your business is what I would say.
Let me add one thing to what you said around the data. I don't even know if it's really cost that's the issue with regard to getting your data off. It's the potential time and latency in order to move data, right? There is a maximum bandwidth that you can achieve today for moving data over even InfiniBand or something like that, direct connect, right? And we were talking about this last night at Cloud Beers, and I think somebody said it's like you can move a petabyte a day over what we have today from a digital moving, pathway standpoint. So if you have 200 petabytes of data to move, it's not only prohibitive, it's the time it would take you to actually move that data, right?
Right.
So, but at the same time, I think it's always a bad idea to invest all of your critical assets in a single provider, right? So, so that's a concentration risk out of the gate, right? So it's to your point, like in a multi-cloud environment, you want to spread out the same architecture that you need to build the environments for the enterprise, and you want to spread that out over multiple providers so that you spread that risk out at the same time as well, right? And that's where Equinix actually would come in, or any carrier-neutral facility where you can interconnect in a neutral way all of these multiple carriers.
Guys, this has been a great conversation. Let's close out by how do people reach out to you if they have questions or want to dive deeper?
Come to Dallas and I'll make you some Brazilian steaks. I'm at W Michel, Michel, and like I said, I'm in Dallas. And go Cowboys!
They are playing tonight, aren't they? Hey, so Twitter is at JP Morgenthal, Morgenthal.
All right, find me on LinkedIn. My handle is HERCKT.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. And you want to find more coverage from AWS reInvent? Subscribe to the channel, whether you're watching this on LinkedIn or YouTube or even Twitter at CTO Advisor. Talk to you next CTO Dose. Thanks a lot, guys.